Story 1. In the heart of the dense, foreboding forest, where towering pines stretched towards the sky like skeletal fingers, two adventurous souls embarked on a camping trip that would unravel into a nightmarish ordeal. Emily and Mark, a couple seeking a break from the monotony of city life, chose the remote and ominous woods for their escapade, unaware of the ominous fate that awaited them. As they set up their tent in a small clearing, the rustling leaves and creaking branches overhead cast an unsettling ambiance. The air felt thick with an unspoken tension, and the distant calls of nocturnal creatures seemed more like forewarnings than natural sounds. Despite the eerie atmosphere, Emily and Mark dismissed their unease as mere imagination, attributing it to the unfamiliarity of the wilderness. Nightfall descended swiftly, cloaking the forest in an impenetrable darkness. The crackling fire served as their feeble defense against the encroaching shadows. They shared laughter and exchanged stories, attempting to drown out the ever-present symphony of eerie whispers in the wind. Unbeknownst to them, an ancient malevolence lingered in the depths of the woods, awakening as the moon reached its zenith. A sudden chill swept through the air, causing the flames to flicker and dance erratically. The couple exchanged uneasy glances, realizing that an unnatural silence had settled upon the forest. Even the nocturnal creatures had fallen silent, as if paying homage to an unseen force. As the temperature dropped, Emily and Mark retreated into the safety of their tent. Shadows played tricks on the fabric walls, and every rustle in the underbrush amplified their growing trepidation. They tried to rationalize their fear, attributing it to the wild imagination fueled by countless horror stories around campfires. In the eerie silence, Emily heard a soft, rhythmic tapping outside the tent. Ignoring it at first, she nudged Mark, who was engrossed in a map, planning the next day's trek. The tapping persisted, each tap growing louder and more deliberate. Anxiety etched across Mark's face. He unzipped the tent, exposing the darkness beyond. The tapping ceased, leaving them in a disconcerting quiet. They exchanged puzzled glances but decided to brush it off as the trickery of the forest. Sleep eluded them that night. Strange shadows danced on the walls of the tent, and the wind carried haunting murmurs. As dawn broke, the couple emerged, pale and fatigued, from their sleepless night. Determined to salvage their camping experience, they set off on a hiking trail, hoping the daylight would dispel the lingering unease. The forest, however, had other plans. The trail twisted and turned like a labyrinth, leading them deeper into the heart of the woods. Panic set in as they realized the landscape bore no resemblance to the map Mark had studied so diligently. The ominous whispers returned, growing into a chorus that surrounded them, echoing through the trees. Hours passed, and a sinking realization gripped the couple. They were lost in the labyrinthine depths of an ancient and malevolent forest. Panic turned to desperation as they stumbled upon a clearing bathed in an otherworldly glow. In the center stood a gnarled, ancient tree, its branches reaching out like skeletal fingers, casting elongated shadows that seemed to writhe in the unearthly light. Unable to tear their eyes away, Emily and Mark felt an overwhelming compulsion to approach the tree. As they reached out to touch its bark, the air thickened, and the whispers coalesced into an intelligible chant. The forest seemed to come alive, a sinister force manifesting itself in the rustling leaves and the murmur of the shadows. Abruptly, the ground trembled beneath them, and the ancient tree groaned as if awakening from a dormant slumber. The shadows converged, enveloping Emily and Mark in a suffocating embrace. The couple screamed, their voices swallowed by the cacophony of the forest. In the blink of an eye, the clearing returned to its normal state. The ancient tree stood silent, its branches no longer reaching out hungrily. The shadows retreated, leaving Emily and Mark disoriented and shaken. As the couple stumbled away from the ominous clearing, they found themselves back on the familiar trail, the forest's malevolent presence dissipating like morning mist. Exhausted and traumatized, Emily and Mark emerged from the woods, forever changed by their nightmarish encounter. The whispers, the shadows, and the ancient tree haunted their dreams, a constant reminder of the malevolence that lurked in the heart of the deep woods. The once adventurous couple, now marked by an otherworldly experience, vowed never to speak of that night, their secret eternally bound to the haunting depths of the forest. Story 2. In the heart of the wilderness, where nature's beauty masked the ancient secrets hidden beneath the foliage, Alex and Sarah embarked on a camping trip that would plunge them into a chilling tale of darkness and despair. Excitement filled the air as they pitched their tent by the serene lake, their only companions being the rustling leaves and the distant calls of nocturnal creatures. The day unfolded with idyllic moments. A picturesque sunset reflected on the calm waters, and a crackling campfire warmed their souls. Little did they know that the tranquil beauty masked a history steeped in supernatural terror, a history that would soon catch up with them as the night descended. As darkness swallowed the forest, the couple huddled in their tent, oblivious to the ancient force that stirred beneath the roots of the towering trees. Unbeknownst to Alex and Sarah, the lake had been the site of an age-old tragedy, and the spirits of the tormented souls sought release from their watery grave. As the night wore on, strange occurrences disrupted the once peaceful atmosphere. Faint whispers echoed in the wind, and the shadows seemed to dance with an otherworldly rhythm. Sarah dismissed the unsettling sensations as the tricks of an overactive imagination, but Alex couldn't shake the feeling that something lurked just beyond their flickering campfire. Unable to ignore the palpable tension, the couple decided to explore the surroundings. The moon cast an eerie glow on the lake, and the air grew colder as they approached the water's edge. A spectral mist began to rise, forming ghostly figures that seemed to beckon them towards the center of the lake. Compelled by an inexplicable force, Alex and Sarah boarded a small rowboat left by previous campers. As they rowed towards the heart of the lake, the whispers intensified, each word a lamentation from the forgotten spirits below. The couple exchanged nervous glances, their unease growing with each passing moment. Abruptly, the boat halted, as if an invisible hand gripped its sides. Panic set in as the spectral mist thickened, enveloping them in an otherworldly embrace. Shadows danced on the surface of the water, and the whispers transformed into mournful wails that echoed through the forest. Suddenly, the lake's calm surface erupted, and waterlogged hands reached out from below, clawing at the sides of the boat. Alex and Sarah recoiled in horror as ghastly faces emerged from the murky depths, their eyes pleading for release from a cursed existence. Frantic, the couple tried to row back to shore, but an unseen force held them captive. The ghostly hands tightened their grip, and the boat began to sink beneath the weight of the tormented souls. The lake, once serene and inviting, transformed into a watery grave, swallowing the couple in a whirlpool of despair. Gasping for breath, Alex and Sarah found themselves submerged in a subaqueous realm, surrounded by the anguished spirits trapped in the depths. The underwater world pulsated with a malevolent energy, and the couple realized they were entwined in a struggle for survival against a supernatural force that transcended the boundaries of the living and the dead. As the spectral figures closed in, the couple felt an otherworldly presence tugging at their very souls. The water around them seemed to come alive, twisting and contorting with a sinister intent. In a desperate bid for escape, Alex and Sarah swam towards the surface, their lungs burning with the need for air. Gasping for breath, they emerged from the lake, the moonlight casting an ethereal glow on their drenched forms. The forest, once peaceful, now echoed with the haunting cries of the tormented spirits. The spectral mist retreated, leaving the lake and its dark secrets undisturbed once more. Shaken to their core, Alex and Sarah stumbled back to their campsite, vowing never to speak of the horrors they witnessed beneath the surface of the seemingly tranquil lake. The forest, now tainted by the echoes of the past, stood silent, its secrets buried deep within the roots of the ancient trees. As dawn broke, the couple packed their belongings, leaving the cursed lake behind. Little did they know that the spirits, though temporarily appeased, continued to linger in the shadows, waiting for the next unsuspecting wanderers to disturb the restless waters. The lake, forever marked by the tragedy of its past, stood as a warning to those who dared to venture into the heart of the wilderness, where beauty and horror entwined in a delicate dance. Story 3. In the heart of the dense and foreboding forest, where ancient trees stood as silent sentinels, Emma and Jake set out on a camping trip, seeking solace in the embrace of nature. Little did they know that their journey into the silent grove would unravel a twisted tale of two lost souls, haunted by forces beyond their understanding. The forest, cloaked in shadows, seemed to come alive as the couple ventured deeper into its heart. The air was heavy with an unsettling stillness, broken only by the occasional rustle of leaves and the distant hoots of owls. Emma and Jake, undeterred by the eerie ambiance, marveled at the towering trees that loomed above, their twisted branches intertwining like skeletal fingers. As night fell, the couple set up camp in a small clearing, the flickering flames of their fire casting dancing shadows on the trees. The silence of the grove became more pronounced, and a sense of isolation settled over Emma and Jake like a suffocating shroud. The forest, it seemed, was holding its breath, waiting for something unknown. As the couple nestled into their tent, the distant sound of footsteps echoed through the darkness. Emma, stirred from her half-sleep, nudged Jake, who dismissed the noise as the nocturnal wanderings of wildlife. However, the footsteps drew closer, rhythmic and deliberate, echoing through the silent grove like a haunting drumbeat. Curiosity overcoming caution, Jake unzipped the tent, revealing the inky blackness beyond. The footsteps ceased, leaving the couple in a tense silence. With a shrug, Jake attributed the sound to an overactive imagination and returned to the tent. Little did they know, the forest held secrets that defied explanation. As the night wore on, a strange fog crept into the clearing, obscuring the surroundings in a ghostly veil. Emma and Jake, now uneasy, exchanged glances. Shadows moved within the mist, and whispers, unintelligible and haunting, brushed against their ears like a spectral caress. The once inviting grove transformed into a labyrinth of uncertainty. Determined to unravel the mystery, Emma and Jake ventured into the fog-shrouded forest. The trees, once familiar, now loomed like spectral giants, their gnarled branches reaching out to ensnare unwary travelers. The whispers grew louder, forming into indistinct voices that seemed to beckon the couple deeper into the heart of the grove. Time lost its meaning as they stumbled upon an ancient stone altar, bathed in an ethereal glow. Symbols, long forgotten by the world, adorned the weathered surface. A chill ran down their spines as they realized the grove held a history steeped in the occult. An altar to a forgotten deity, a relic of a time when the boundaries between the mortal realm and the supernatural were thin. The fog thickened, and the voices converged, merging into a chorus that resonated within their very souls. The air crackled with an otherworldly energy as shadows materialized, taking shape around the ancient altar. Faces, twisted in agony, manifested in the mist, and Emma and Jake found themselves in the midst of a spectral congregation. A figure, cloaked in darkness, materialized before the altar. Its form was nebulous, a shifting silhouette that seemed to draw strength from the despair that permeated the grove. The whispers coalesced into a guttural chant, a language long forgotten by the living but etched into the very fabric of the ancient forest. Emma and Jake, paralyzed by a force beyond their comprehension, watched as the spectral figure extended a shadowy hand towards the altar. The stone glowed with an ominous light, and the grove pulsed with malevolent energy. The forgotten deity, awakened from its slumber, hungered for the essence of the living. In a horrifying realization, the couple understood that the grove thrived on the despair of lost souls. The whispers were the echoes of those who had wandered into the silent grove, consumed by its supernatural malevolence. Emma and Jake, unwitting intruders, had become part of the spectral congregation, trapped in a nightmarish ritual. Desperation set in as the couple struggled against the invisible bonds that held them captive. The spectral figure, its hunger unsated, turned its gaze towards them. The altar pulsed with a dark energy, drawing upon the life force of the lost souls entwined in the grove's grip. As the chanting reached a crescendo, the grove erupted in a burst of otherworldly light. Emma and Jake felt their very beings unraveling, their souls torn from their mortal shells. The ancient deity, appeased by the sacrifice, retreated into the shadows, leaving the grove in an eerie silence. The fog dissipated, revealing the clearing once more. Emma and Jake, now empty shells of their former selves, stood before the ancient altar. The whispers had ceased, the grove having claimed its toll. The silent grove, having feasted on the despair of lost souls, returned to its slumber, its secrets buried within the depths of the ancient forest. As dawn broke, the first rays of sunlight pierced through the dense canopy. The grove, now serene and seemingly untouched, stood as a testament to the horrors that lurked beneath its tranquil facade. The twisted trees, the silent whispers, and the ancient altar bore witness to a tale of two lost souls ensnared in a nightmarish ritual, a cautionary tale for those who dared to venture into the heart of the silent grove, where the line between the living and the supernatural blurred into a haunting symphony of despair. Thank you for watching this video. Make sure to subscribe, like, comment, and turn on notifications if you enjoyed the video so you never miss an upload.